and welcome to Benevolence, where kindness matters and all are welcome to the table. I'm your host, S3.E1. Season 3 is finally here, and I'm so excited for what's in store for you all in the next 10 weeks. We will be covering serious topics such as health, anxiety, disappointments, sex and relationships, reaching your dreams, exercising the calling that God has placed over your life, and also testimonials and success stories that will empower you to tell your own story. And don't forget, at the end of Season 3, I will be hosting my very first live podcast event. On this special day, I want to take the time to hang out and have you part of a live podcast. So stay tuned for the event date. You don't want to miss this. Before we begin, I would like to thank all of my listeners and supporters who have joined me on this journey of benevolence from Season 1 and 2. And if this is your first time chiming in, thank you for your support. I pray that as you listen to Benevolence Podcast, you will leave empowered, blessed, and encouraged to be the best version of yourself. You are tuning into Episode 1, Celebrating Womanhood. In light of National Women's Month and International Women's Day this past Friday, I thought it would be appropriate to start off the season celebrating womanhood, friendships, and sisterhood. On this episode of Benevolence, I had the privilege of having all three of my girlfriends join me at the table. We basically discussed a variety of topics including friendships and taking risks. I hope that as you listen to my close circle of friends, it would encourage you to find people that support, empower you to be the best that you can be. Enjoy. You are tuning into an exclusive episode. This episode is very, very special to me because I have the privilege of having my three main besties at the table today. These three individuals have been on Benevolence before in previous seasons, but now I have all three of them together on the table. Yes! Okay, so we have been friends for a very, very long time. We have seen each other through many crazy transitions in life. These three girls, they knew me before I was married, before I became a mom. They've seen me like great, they see me bad, like it's crazy. And I've also seen them in their transitions of life too. So when it comes to being a wife, a mother, and spiritual maturation, so, you know, we have all seen all of that. So without further ado, we have Janisha y La Raza, Tiffany Gonzalez, and Pamela Bultron joining me at the table today. Hey, girls! Hi! Well, first I want to thank you guys for joining me at the table. Sure. This is like very dear to my heart. You guys have no idea. Well, I'll explain later on towards the end why it's so important, but it is very important to have all three of you. And last season I was like, we have to have a girls talk, but with like the three of us, because when we go to dinner all the time, I'm always thinking like, oh my God, I need a microphone in the middle of the table because it's just what we talk about is so good. And it's like so interesting. I'm like, you know, I'm fingers crossed that, you know, it'll be as genuine as it is in this setting because, you know, a microphone can be very intimidating, but we'll try. But okay, so typically on an episode of Benevolence, we have a main topic, but because it's just us and I didn't want to really put a topic. So it's called Girl Talk. Okay, it's just Girl Talk Part 3 for Season 3. So I believe that our listeners will appreciate how genuine we are with whatever topic we decide to talk about. Right. Okay, so I just want us to be real, raw, and be as authentic as we can without the intimidation of the microphone. Yeah. So let's give it a try. But first, I'm sure our listeners would like to either know you guys because they never heard, they don't know who you are, or they want a little recap of your life and where you've been and how life has transitioned, how different your life is now. So go ahead and start off by telling our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name is Janisha. Everybody calls me Nisha. I am currently in Bible Institute right now. I'm looking forward to getting my credentials in the future. I also have a good job right now. I'm working for a lawyer company. It's a lot to explain, but I work from home, so that's pretty cool.
Blessing.
And I am excited for this year. I really believe this year is going to be a great year. and I'm just looking forward to whatever God has for my life.
Good.
You have
wow, so hard.
Go ahead, Tim.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So, okay, do I... Okay. Sorry. You said go ahead, Tim, so I'm like, do I introduce myself?
Just introduce and the last time you were in season 1.
Yeah, nobody knows you from now.
So what I'm saying is
just update.
Yeah, update.
Hello, everyone. This is Tiffany Gonzalez, and I was a part of Ceci's season 1, where we talked a lot about mental health, which was exciting. I recently just graduated with my master's.
Woo!
That is, yes.
Doctora!
Oh my gosh, finally. But I'm really excited about that. That's a big accomplishment, and I'm currently not working, but for really good reasons. This year is definitely a year of transition, and we'll share a little bit more about that at the end, but we have some exciting things with my husband and I in the near future, so life is good so far.
And she has a blog.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never Stop Love.
Never Stop Love. Go follow.
Never Stop Love has we pretty much started it last year, and it'll be a year in May, I believe. And God has just really blessed us with awesome friends that are willing to share their stories and just be a blessing to other couples. So God is good.
Awesome. Bam.
Okay.
Bam, 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 bam. Hi. What season was season? I mean, season 1.
Season 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what episode.
5. I think 5 or 6.
Mm-hmm.
So back then I was pregnant.
Yes.
Not anymore. I have my baby girl on November 25th. It was a very long
Which I have to bring you back so that you can give your baby story.
Yeah,
because
it was a little
super intense.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my word.
It was pretty intense, but at the end it's so worth it when you see your baby.
Yes.
So I'm definitely in a new season in my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's been crazy.
Gorgeous baby.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. She has gray eyes, which
I know, like, what the heck, bro?
Like gray eyes.
Beautiful.
Oh, Dios mío, she's so cute. And I have to go back to work tomorrow.
Oh, it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. I know I'm gonna cry. I know I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
but you gotta do what you gotta do now. Yeah. There's no turning back. So that's my major change right now. And I'm just hoping also for a new job.
Yes.
I think it's time for me to move on. And just to see what this year is gonna be. It's gonna be everything new for me. Every month. Yeah. Right now my baby is 2 months now. So I know every month is gonna be something new, something different with me. How my body has changed, how my home has changed, how my life had changed. By my, in myself and with my husband, with my family, with my friends. But hey.
You're doing it.
Yeah. And we're so glad.
You're doing it.
I'm doing
it. And it gets better. I always tell you that. I'm like, it gets so much better. And I know, like, it's hard to say at the moment. Like, it's hard to believe at the moment. But, like, I have a 4-year-old now, so it's like, oh, trust me. I look back and I was like, whatever. All those times where I cried, it was just, like, not worth it. Because now it's like, it's just so much fun, So, yeah. I'm proud of you, girl.
I'm enjoying it.
Yes. And like from I think from last October to last September, October, like we didn't hang out at all. Yeah. It was hard for us to hang out because
we would see each other individually, but we didn't have time to get together. Like when I was available, one of you guys weren't available.
Yeah.
It was just so hard.
Yeah, literally, it was like
and
Tiffany
I was out
like
for like
out.
3 months.
It was like in hibernation.
Literally.
What happened was with Tiffany, she was in school. She was about to graduate. She didn't have time to hang out with us. Then after that,
Kevin got
back surgery.
The surgery.
Yeah.
And that kind of had me in hiding for quite a while.
So we just were a nurse.
You were a nurse for 3 months.
I sure was. It was,
gosh.
So,
but do you ever think you're gonna do your testimony and Never Stop Love?
Yeah. Well, what do you mean? Which one? Like the experience of his back surgery,
or everything.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, we definitely want to. I think we've just been trying to like get as many other stories, and then whenever we have time and we can share ours, we want to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for my listeners out there, Tiffany and Kevin have an amazing ministry, an amazing movement called Never Stop Love Blog. It's a blog, but it's also a YouTube channel in which they have they've told their testimony, and they've also interviewed many different couples who have gone through challenges within their marriage, one of them being me and Anthony, and it actually came out today.
Go check it out.
So make sure you go on Never Stop Love, and you are surely going to be blessed. They have an Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and
that's it,
right? A YouTube.
Well, the YouTube.
And
it's linked everything, so if you click on one, you'll see all the social media platforms.
For sure.
So.
Okay.
So that's awesome. So please go support Never Stop Love blog. But like I said, girls, I'm so happy that each of you are here.
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk really quickly about how we met. And there's 4 of us in the room, so it's a little hard because it's gonna take hours for of us to just speak our
think and reminisce.
Reminisce. My point of view is different from your point of view, but So what I'm thinking is we can just go around the table and be like, I met Nisha met Nisha met Tiffany met Pam met
it's so
me.
pretty. Your hair's so curly.
It's really curly, guys. I'm so sorry, but
I love it. No.
This is definitely a commercial break, but I do use. I switched over to Garnier Fructis.
Yes.
This is not a sponsored film,
but it's so curly. It looks like.
And it's because
fluffy.
I don't wash it, because washing curly hair is not good. No. You can't do it all the time. Once a week, I heard this. It's it. So, and then that's it. I haven't been flat ironing or straightening. Yeah. So I've been trying to really get my curls back. Yeah. I lose a lot of hair like crazy. Yeah. Crazy. When I wash my hair, chunks. And I don't know if my listeners...
I do too, actually. I don't know if it's stress or if it's age or...
I think every stage of if you're stressed, if you... Like me, I just give birth.
But hair when I use my brush, it's like a hairball.
Yeah, mine too.
Of hair on my brush. And I'm like, this is scary.
I look at pictures of just 2 years ago. I mean, that's why I say I never had a full head of hair. I'm always had really thin hair, but I have frizzy hair, so it looks like I have a lot of hair, but it's not. But when I look back to just 2 years ago, I'm like, what in the world happened to my hair? It's just not what it used to be.
So it's thinner now than what it was before?
Super
mine
thin.
Too.
Yeah. I feel like mine
and I don't know. I take supplements, but I've not really seen much of an improvement. I
think hair has a stage we have in life.
Yeah, I think so
body, too. I think everything, our face, or
it's
true. Just hair is part of it. I guess so.
Yeah. So, back to how we met. We totally want to...
You're going to hear a lot of
It's going to happen all the time during this episode. But, okay, so let me start really quickly just to kind of get the flow going so give you time to think of how you met the other person. But I personally met Nisha, and we probably talked about this last season when she was, I think it was Friend Zone, where we talked about friendships and stuff like that. I met her through church. And I think I mentioned how I didn't like her in the beginning. I don't know, I did not. Y'all didn't know that?
No.
Oh my God, after all this time.
I feel y'all just met and we're best friends forever.
No. Oh my God, no. I totally did not like her at all. She was she had a stuck up, it was just she was not approachable. She was unreachable. And then
that's what she thought.
It was just annoying. It was annoying. I don't know, I just
her and her eyes.
Yeah, it was just I'm who the heck does she think she is? Because she started being used a lot in YX, which is the youth group from our local church, and this is years ago. This is 2005, 2006.
That's when I recently moved over here.
Yeah, and 2005 was when I met her. What the heck is that? She's like a gallo. Anyways, 2005 I met her, and then I don't know, I didn't like her at first. It was really hard. It was really, really hard.
Okay,
and then
she didn't like me.
But believe it or not, Nisha and I we have a few years. So I'm 31 and she's 28. So it's like there's a few years in between
at that time.
At the time.
18.
Because I was 18.
I was like, what, 16?
Yeah. So like, 18
so
we don't
old.
Is it 16?
I was 16.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But it was like, I don't know, it was that. And then when I came back to church after my whole testimony thing, you have to listen to season 1, episode 1 to hear my testimony. But after I came back to Christ, we stared a singing group. I know that sounds so weird, but it was like, after
it is.
I did come back to Christ because I did a huge 180. But anyways, when I came back to Christ, I came back to join a team called Outcry, and then from there it was like a worship team, and then that's how I met you. And then we would just be in the same places. We would just fall to be in the same places at the same time. And then since I had a car and stuff, it would take you home and stuff. And from there, we just started to create our friendship. And it's been, yeah. And don't get me wrong, we've had like highs, and then we had lows, but we remained friends. And so we've been friends since 2017. And it's 2017. 2007. My bad. It's 2007.
You saw my eyes. I was like,
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm 60. I'm 28.
Oh my God.
So 2007. So it's 2019. So it's 12 years. Right? That's 12 years?
Girl, I'm horrible at math, so don't
say 12 years.
17, 18, 19. Yeah.
I will agree. Yes.
12 years.
Yeah.
So yeah,
wow.
I think that's how I met Nisha.
Yeah.
So now, Nisha, how did you meet Tiffany?
So I know Tiffany from church. I remember Omar had invited you to sing with us.
Yeah.
For I'm not sure if it was an event or it was just like a special service. And I met you at the practice, and you were super cool. Like you created conversation like right away. Like you were like the type of person that was just like shy or it's like, well, I was
Why?
because you're just so beautiful.
No,
she was so beautiful. Well, not she was. She is so beautiful. Oh no, but she did have.
Oh my God, she's so beautiful.
She would never be our friend.
I was like, there's no way.
She had her little like Coach purse or whatever.
She would dress so good. Oh my God, she was
like
super like stylish.
She was super stylish.
She would wear. I'm telling you, she would wear heels every day. Like even if it was like a regular thing, like she would wear heels.
Yo, she was like that.
So, she did create conversation, but it was a little intimidating. And then, so yeah, that happened. And then I remember I signed up to go to Palm Beach Atlantic University. And then I come to find out that you also did.
Yeah.
And we had the classes together. And so as your friendship just grew from there. And she would help me write homework. And we would like go early to school. And we created conversation. And then ever since, like, we've just been super close. So I'm just so grateful for you.
Oh my gosh, you remembered a lot. I know. I remember half of that.
All right, so Tiffany, how did you meet Pam?
Okay, so I feel like that's when we were kind of like, I'm trying to remember everything. But I mean, you kind of knew everyone else prior to me. So I was like the last person to kind of join in because everyone already knew each other. So
we knew each other individually. Like you knew me, you knew Ceci. And then
we kind of it all happened.
Yeah.
So pretty much I started coming to the church around, I think it was 2008. And then little by little, like Nisha said, I started to get to know the girls, and then they were already close with Pam. And then one day, I mean, I love Pamela's personality. So obviously we met in church, but for those of you who don't know, like, she's just like so bubbly and
we are like all over the place right now.
She's real.
She's gonna tell you how it is, whether you like it or not. So
Spanish ghetto.
Yeah,
for sure.
I love it, and she is like a preacher at heart. That is her calling. But there was just something about her that I totally was drawn to, and I remember just reaching out one day to Ceci, and we were playing like a girls' night. I think it was right.
It was in the Eye.
A yard house.
Yeah. Oh, yes,
There.
I remember. And I had told Ceci, I was like, hey, let's just hang out. And then I was like, reach out to Pamela, because I didn't have your number at that time.
We didn't have communication at
No.
all.
Actually, I think I was pregnant.
Yes.
I was
think
pregnant.
You were.
Yeah.
You were.
Yeah.
I was pregnant, and you had come back from Missouri, and you wanted to do a girls' night,
Exactly.
and you invited all your girls,
We
and
did-
then
we
you
took
you
pictures.
added, we took
Yeah,
pictures in
I
front of the
wanted-
eye.
I wanted Pammy to come and visit with us. No, but yeah, that's pretty much how it was. So we kind of knew each other at church. We kind of would say hi here and there, but it was never something.
Then after that,
So how did you meet?
Okay,
Steph?
so Pam, how did you meet me?
how I miss. You know, I don't know why I was thinking. I don't know if I was dreaming. Maybe I was dreaming, or I don't know. We have a picture. I think you were in dancing in the worship team with me.
Yeah,
That's why I met you.
that's when we met.
So that's what's
Believe it or not, as big as I am, guys, I was in the dance team, and I was pretty good.
She was.
I was very flexible.
You were
I
with,
could-
you were with
Sandra, and I would lift that leg
was
up,
like-
you know? I asked me to lift that leg up now, and I don't know if I can lift that leg,
That's
but
hilarious.
You did.
Yes.
You did.
but I was,
You were in advance.
I was in the advanced team.
She was. She was in advance. Anyways, so that was like 12 years.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. You were like 13, 14 years old.
And I'm 26.
Yeah, you were like very, very young.
I was very
and
young.
we just started hanging out, and we just started doing our thing.
And then,
I don't know, it just flourished from there. It was always just, we were always together.
Always.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
And
I don't,
it
like,
just-
we don't really know how it happens.
It just, we got close because I was young, you were young. Well, we are young.
We are young. Mhm.
But in the group, in the dance group, yeah, we were kind of like the younger one.
Yeah.
Kind of like, we were not adult, but we were like the teens at that time.
Yeah.
And then, you just talk to me, and then I didn't know a lot of English back then. I still don't know a lot.
Yeah.
But Ceci, that's how at first. because
But
I'm
also
like, I can't-
because I was friends with your husband prior to meeting him. So because of that, that was like,
Oh,
I was
that's
always,
right.
I was always with Angelito Javier.
You pretty much
You're an
used
Alexandra.
her. I'm kidding.
I was the bridge
You
for
were.
Javier and Pam.
She was, and I will never forget. She was like, "You're gonna get married to Javier." I was not even like, I didn't even like Javier at that time. She's like, "You gonna get married to Javier? You're gonna get married." And look at me.
Yep, I'm married and a baby. Yep.
But then since then, well, because I was very young, more younger than you. We're like
We're far apart.
Yeah, we're like 5 years apart.
Yeah.
So because I was dependent.
But
on
believe
my
it or not,
parents.
she's mature for her age.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
she wasn't like, back then you weren't acting your age at all. And I so.
But because we didn't go out a lot because I didn't have a car, I didn't drive.
Exactly.
I lived very far from church, so I depend on my parents a lot. But anyways, every time we see each other, it's like we never
split up or anything.
Yeah. And I didn't have a cell phone either.
No.
So and then from there we just started growing. And then when I had a car, and then that's when we go out and stuff. And then you ended up being like, how is it, godmother?
I'm your madrina, so
Yeah.
I'm like her matron of honor type thing in the Spanish culture.
Yeah.
They just call it madrina.
Yeah.
So like me and Anthony are the padrinos of Javier and Pam. So it's like, yeah.
And
so
then-
I was an honor. I was right behind her wedding.
Awesome.
So proud.
So yeah, that's how.
Yeah, but that was it.
Yeah.
It was very casual.
Yeah.
It just like naturally happened.
Yeah.
And I think like for our listeners who are listening to this episode, having a balance within a friendship is so important. And I feel like we're the definition of that good balance because
we're so different.
we are so different.
Everyone,
It's very, very crazy how each and every all four of us is different and completely. We have a lot of similar tastes because obviously you have to have we have to like the same things in order to be friends. But like Nisha is totally different than Tiffany. Tiffany's totally different than Pam. Pam is me. It's just but the way that we balance each other, it just works out so well.
Yeah.
Like for me, my point of view, and I don't know if you can agree, and if you agree or if you disagree, chime in. Like Nisha's more of like the spiritual, like if ever I need a good prayer, like like it's true.
I randomly with we would hang out, and I would randomly be like, "Yo, guys, let's pray."
Let's pray, guys.
What? I remember she was.
Remember this taco place?
Pamela was like, because Pamela's spiritual too.
Yeah,
Pamela's spiritual,
yeah, but her timing is just like there is no timing with
Wait,
Nisha.
remember when we went to eat tacos?
What was this?
This is the place that I didn't like and you guys love.
We were talking about God,
Taco?
and like,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Oh my God.
I hate that place so much. And she was just like praying. We were just literally eating.
We're trying to have a conversation.
we were talking about spiritual things, and like the conversation was so powerful. And I was
But
like,
you
guys,
just-
I feel God.
You
I'm like,
close your eyes.
No, she was like,
guys, after this, let's go to your sister's house and pray. Like, guys, God wants us to pray. Like,
She was like, I feel God right now.
yeah.
I feel
So okay.
like-
So for those that are listening, because you're probably like, what the heck is going on? So we went to Bar Taco and we just started talking about God because we're all believers and stuff. So we're just talking about God,
I forgot
trying to
what
catch,
we were
I don't know what we're really talking about, but Nisha tends to just she taps in very quickly, which is not a bad
Her
thing.
her discernment
Is on point. So we can be in the middle of like hell and she would just like tap in very quickly. And we're in the middle of a restaurant. We're having a nice dinner. Pamela's hating her food. We're loving her food. I loved the food there.
The food was great.
The food was great. It was so spicy for you. Just
It
gotta
was
get like
so
another one.
great.
But anyways. So we're there talking about God, talking about like what God has done for us and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, Nisha, she's like, yo, I feel my spirit. We gotta pray. And she starts like closing her eyes and like wanting to pray. And me, Tiffany, and Pamela are like, yo, what the heck is going on?
I'm just trying to eat my taco.
But that's what I mean by that. By Nisha's like she's more of the spiritual one. Like Nisha's the one where like if I'm really going through something, which I have called you, I would call and I'd be like, Nisha, I need you to pray right now.
But I'm also like the random one.
You are very random.
I'm very random.
Like I'm funny random. Like,
You are, and you don't see it.
Yeah.
You just
She doesn't.
do it.
Like I remember at first, one of the things that when I first met Nisha would like get under my skin is that she would like cut me off. She all the time. Like I would be so in it, and so like I'm one of those people. Obviously, going to school to be a therapist. It's like I love eye contact. I love to be engaged in what we're talking about. Yeah, and Nisha's like we're like talking about school stuff, and she's like, oh, but by the way, did you and whatever the tangent goes off to. But I would be like, I remember a couple of times I would look at you and you'd be like, it's okay. That's just who she is. It's not personal. But I'm like, girl, let me finish my.
No, she does that all the time.
I'm a very good listener.
Yeah,
she's gotten better.
Yeah,
She got better.
Yeah, because
she's gotten a lot better because before she would like literally zone out.
you're like, Nisha.
I'm like, Nisha, but I'm talking to you. Like, look at me in the face or respond. I just asked you a question. Did you even hear the question that I asked you? Like,
Oh my gosh.
it's I don't know.
Yep.
And then Tiffany is obviously we're all great listeners, but Tiffany is the more educated listener.
She got better.
Yeah. Like she has like always good advice and like
Positive.
whenever and she's like not biased because obviously her therapy or her major. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. Her major allows her to not take sides and stuff. So it's always good. Like I always text you, and I texted you last week, and I called you, and I was like, "This is happening. What do you think I should do?" And you're like, "Well, I think you should do this because you don't." But I think you should do this. I know you feel this way, but you know what I mean? So Tiffany is definitely the person that I go to for straight up advice. Like, she knows how I feel. And the greatest thing is she asks the same question. And I always laugh when she asks, you ask me, like, but how do you feel?
How do you feel?
But how do you feel?
She's like, how's that make you feel?
How does that make you feel?
Because
and that's the therapy, that's the therapist in you.
We're like, okay, they always say like you don't give advice, I think once you build friendship for so long, it's hard to like not chime in on like your friend's life. Yeah. Hello, like it's like I love you, I don't want to see you fall, but I want to hear where your mind is, where you at right now, like
and she asks detailed questions.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I've been
I ask a lot of questions too.
You do.
I'm like, so what were you wearing? Like, how were you? Were you mad? Like You're like that too. I think that's something we have in common.
Yeah.
We ask detailed questions.
But Nisha tends to ask on the wrong time.
Yes,
so.
like it's not the time.
Nisha, oh my God, there's been times where I'm like,
Nisha, don't try to put me under the bus.
Tiffany, if we ask the question, she's like, oh my God, is that the wrong question? You already asked the question, Tiff. You already asked the question.
Oh my gosh.
Baby.
and then Pam Pamela is a whole nother. She's a whole nother. Like it's just a breed, a different like.
She has no shame. Like,
yeah.
I do not have shame.
She's no shame.
She's like mad Boricua. But like if you don't know what Boricua is, like people from like Puerto Rico.
She just takes pride.
She just
in,
takes
like,
pride in the island.
I wouldn't be like Pamela. She does not care.
She is a true feminist.
Oh my word.
She is a feminist. Like she doesn't need a man to live this
and
life.
if she has a problem with someone, she'll say it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's just very, very like ghetto and
And I
have a baby girl.
Yes.
Oh,
She's
Mia's
like-
gonna come out like that.
Low key,
so.
she I don't know how to explain it.
Pamela's the
Low-key,
best
like,
person to talk to, like when it's like chisme, like when it's gossip.
Oh my God.
She's the best person, and she will like text us. She'll be like, "What is this?" And then we're like, "Guys,
Sometimes she won't even say it. She'll just send us like a picture. I'm gonna.
and she'll like a bunch of question marks on emoji or something, and we just
She's
have to like.
definitely the person you want to have on your side when you're mad or you're
Yes.
like she will fight that fight with you. Like
Yep.
she's not
You know,
gonna
like
let
there's
you
people
get
that you go to like make you like tell you not to do something.
Yeah.
She'll be the person to be like, do it.
Yeah. Like we'll like rob a bank, and she'll be like, "What time?" Like, I'm there. Like Tiffany will be like, "But how do you feel? Like, do you really want?"
You know what? God wants us to care about this.
I think we should intercede right now before we break it.
Let's pray and rebuke
We already dress up.
spirit.
Yeah.
We already dress up to rob
Like,
our
if we
bank.
rob a bank, let's just give the money.
To the poor.
Oh my
So we have.
Wait,
and then-
Ceci.
Sassy.
Oh my God. Ceci.
She's the mom. I feel
She's
like
the
of us,
mom.
though. Because I feel like
You're the Pamela, you're a mom.
no, but in the sense where we flock, like we've all
Yeah,
kind
she
of
leads.
glued together because she's leading
she
us.
leads
Yeah.
us.
Yes.
But I remember Ceci has gotten better. Like she would like say, she's like Pamela. She'll say it straight up.
I feel that that's one of the things that I like most.
Yes.
Is
No,
like,
but I feel like before it would be like
no, there were no filters.
I'd be like, oh my
filters.
gosh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
But
now
you do.
now you're still straight up. But I feel like you
I think about it before I
think
say
about
it.
it now.
Yeah, because before I think I would say it, and
Now
now
you hear Tiffany saying,
how does that make you feel?
And then
and then me on the side, are you sure?
are you praying
That's
about
not
that?
that's not right to say.
It's true. I've changed a lot because of you guys. Like honestly, because
you always
before.
Are you okay? But are you good?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
do
I'm
you
always
need
making sure
anything?
everybody's okay.
Do you? I come in this house and I'm like 2 minutes. Do you need water? Do you need drink?
Yeah.
Are you okay? How is it? I'm like,
But
Ceci, I'm okay.
I know. I do that with
Yeah.
everyone. I can't help it.
Oh my
Because
God.
I've never had anybody do that to me. So, like, I want to be that person. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
And she's also a very like good listener.
Yes.
Very humble.
And there for you as a friend, like, you know,
Yeah, she's
she's
straight up.
always
Like with me, like when I go for advice, like you'll tell me straight up, but then you also like let me like.
I let you be.
guys fight
Because,
and then
like, why, like, keep talking about it? Like, let me just give you the advice of what I think it is, and that's it. And it's up to you.
Yeah.
Like, because at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do.
exactly.
You know, I think also being a teacher, like, that has
Yes.
also kind of, like, just
true.
the pressure is, like, whatever. Because, you know, as a high school teacher, they get tired of work or whatever, and they don't turn things in and stuff like that. And I'm like, yo, this is not on me. This is on you, bro. Like, the grade that you got is because the grade is the grade that you earned.
Yeah.
And
Like, if you turn something in, it's because you
That's
want it to
your
be
fault,
turned in, you know, and they're like, they'll come in my class, and I'm sorry, this is a huge side note, but this is the most annoyingest thing about my students, is that they walk in and be like, Miss, why you gave me an F? I'm like, first of all, you come into my classroom and you say good morning, and when you acknowledge me, then I can talk to you. But you don't come into my classroom.
Look at you saw the New York accent. The Philadelphia accent.
No, but that's how I am with them. I have to be. So I think like the experience of being a teacher and has like calmed me down.
That I feel like you do, which is awesome, is like you're a type of person that you speak up. Like for us, like I feel like for me, like I'll
she's
say
the most vocal.
I'll say something, but like it'll take a lot for me to say something.
Yeah,
like her, like she's like the first one to like speak up. If she's not feeling like
that's so true.
If she doesn't speak up, she'll show it in her face.
She's like,
so if it's not like verbally saying it, you can tell. Like she's the type of person that she'll like speak up. Like she has no filter. Like she cannot like. At all.
Yeah, you don't know when something is wrong.
Like,
I know.
But I mean, I'm the same. Like, but I think that you have, but again, that's a quality that I like because I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm definitely the one that's I will think about it 20 million times before I open my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in certain settings, you know. But that's something that I admire because you do. Like, I remember being in a meeting one time and you just spoke your mind, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
My God, when was this? I feel so bad.
We'll talk about it later.
Okay, sorry.
You spoke when you needed to speak, and it was for a valid reason, and you really spoke on behalf of many of us that were there. And so it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, you know, like you speak, but wisely, and I don't know. So it's a great quality.
Yeah, I feel like all of us together is like such a
it works.
Like spiritual counselor, real raw, and then you're just like
Fuego.
the mom, like the leader. You're always like leading us. So it's really good.
Well, I love you girls. I really do. Like this wouldn't, you know, like you know, we always go through our struggles in life and we go through things personally and stuff like that, but a lot of the reason why I am the way that I am is because of the people that I have around me, you know, and for our listeners who probably like, why the heck am I listening to this episode? It's a bunch of girls just talking a bunch of nonsense, but honestly, you know, it's to encourage you to surround yourself with people that are going to lift you up, not people that are going to bring you down, like, you know, and something that I wanted to talk about really quickly was like the seasons of friendship, because we have friends outside of this, or we've had friends outside of this circle, and like I could be honest, like it's hard, and I think like there are people that come into your life for certain seasons, and they help mold you in certain areas. And I remember in Friend Zone, in our episode, you know, we had a lot of difficulty, Nisha and I, you know, with outside friends who have caused Nisha and I to falter like in our friendship because of influence and words, and you know, and a lot of, you know, it was honestly a bunch of influence, a bunch of crap, and you know, and there was pain from both ends, you know, and you don't want to be around people like that are just toxic and that are always negative. You know, you want to surround yourself with people that empower you, that support you, and that lift you up. You know, so I always I see this every time for every episode, you need to surround yourself with positive people. Yeah. At the night when you're alone at home and you feel like happy and joyful and ready to take the next day on, you know, then you know that you are surrounded with great people. But if you go to sleep and you're exhausted from being so fake and trying to make everyone happy and trying to measure up to everyone's standards, those are not the people. So I remember, you know, having friends that were just pure negative. Like it was hindering even to my life. I just remember them it was just so toxic. Like I would start being negative about everything, and it wasn't just, you know, people, but it was situations, and it was just so bad that even now, like as an adult, like when I feel coworkers that come up to me and they're just so negative, I'm like, oh my God, like get away from me. Like I do not want to be around you, because all that you bring is negativity, you know, and you don't want to be around people like that. You want to be around people who can empower you, support you, and you have to find, you know, your circle. You have to find the people that push you to be the best that you can be, you know.
Agree. I think like for me, I would definitely say, you know, piggyback off what Pamela was saying, but I think my hardest time was probably around that high school time, because I feel like at that age you're still trying to find who you are, and you know, around that time I think is when I feel I went through that stage of you know, I grew up in church, but really going against what, you know, the Word of God instructs us to be like and live our lives like. So I think at that time was more so when I surrounded myself with people who didn't necessarily, you know, choose to live out a life like, you know, I was raised to. And so it does become draining. It becomes old really quick. You know, you almost lose yourself in the midst of trying to, you know, level up to someone else. And it's unfortunate because you lose that part of your life where you're just like, oh my gosh, if only I'd, you know, stay true to who I am. And, you know, you expose yourself to different things and different people. And so to me, I think that was more one of the moments that was most crucial that I can remember. Like, oh my gosh, I'm totally being fake because I'm hanging out with certain people. But then you get to a point, which, you know, how I was, where I had to make a decision, you know, and moving forward, you really choose to stay away or, you know, surround yourself, like you were saying, with those people. But I don't know, I feel like that was definitely the time for me that I can really remember. I mean, I think in every season in life, you meet different people. I want to say that maybe in my later years, like as a young adult, I think maybe more just like you surround yourself, or not so much you surround yourself, but when you get around certain people that either have more than you or are more advanced in life, then it's that level of, you know, you put these pressures on yourself.
Yeah,
so then
competition, but not really.
But you put yourself on a, you know,
it's pressure.
Yeah, you put yourself in so much, or put so much pressure on yourself, and it gets to a point where you have to. It's something yesterday I put on social media. I was watching a video from Will Smith's wife, Jada, and she was just talking about, like, if you don't love who you are, like, she said people will steal you. I mean, and just imagine, like, the parts of you that, you know, that people love you for who you are. Like, we're over here saying, you know, you're spiritual, you're so uplifting, you're a great listener, and all of those things. I mean, and if we're not really careful with who we're surrounding ourselves, little by little, we'll tend to lose those genuine aspects of who we are, you know? So, I don't know.
What do you think, Nish?
I think for me it's a little bit different because I always remember being like, because I was super shy, like extremely shy. So I remember just always feeling alone, you know, as like in elementary school, like I was very shy, so I don't have friends, you know what I mean? And then middle school, so I always felt like the outsider, and like everywhere, even in church, even in school. So I had to really learn how to like be okay, like being alone, you know what I mean? Because I didn't like speak, you know, like because I was so shy. So it was really hard for me. I remember elementary and middle school being super hard for me, and then like I remember at high school, that's when I finally like stopped being shy in a sense, and kind of God really changed me in that aspect. And then I started creating friendships. But I remember just always like feeling really down, like in elementary school and middle school. And I tried my best to surround myself with people. I know a lot of, like, my brother was totally different people. I don't know if you know, like, Hector, but Hector's super outgoing, and then I was, like, always, like, the shy one. So I just remember Hector was, like, my friend, you know, my best friend, you know. So I never really had, like, I never created as much friendships because, unfortunately, I was super shy. Yeah. But at high school is when, like, I tried my best. Once I, like, was not as shy, I like created good friendships, you know, and then I had some friends here and there that did like hurt me in a sense, and then like that's when you came about. So I know what it is to feel alone or feel like just alone in a sense. Yeah. So I just never felt like I fit in the crowd, because you know I did grow up in church, and you know, I was, you know, bullied in middle school. So I you know, I just always like leaned on God. I think God was like my best friend in a sense, you know. So it was hard, like like if in this world, like it's hard, but just knowing that like God is, I always try my best to like know that God is like my best friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
so, good.
I don't know.
No, yeah. Every story is different.
Yeah.
So you know, for those of you that are, you know, alone and feel like you don't have anyone, lean on God. And I know it may be easier said than done, but honestly, you know, God will bring the right people around for your life.
It's crazy how our stories are like so different.
Yeah, it is. They are very different because Pam didn't have to go through that because she had a bunch of sisters. You know, Tiffany's situation was different. Yours, you know, you had no one, you know, and you were introvert. So, you know, God brought you those people in your late in your adulthood, you know. Exactly. And, you know, I went through... No, go ahead.
No, I had like those people, like acquaintances in a sense, but I never had like true friendship, you know. I never knew what that was. You know what I mean? You know, besides family.
Yeah. I remember growing up and like in high school having a lot of friends didn't matter to me, but in the church that I was in, I had a lot of friends and I had like some good friends, but I remember the seasons where, you know, one friendship would fall off and then I'd get another friend. Like I had a different BFF like almost every year. But they weren't bad people. It just happened that way.
Exactly. I think that's pretty much, you know, how it comes across. Like, I don't think that... I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, that's our story. So you give thanks to God that even in the midst of whatever it was, whether a good or bad season, and it's not anyone's fault. It's just you as an individual, you know? It's like, you're okay with something one day, and then as you grow in life, then you're not okay with it.
It's definitely taught me, like that I don't need anything but God. Because sometimes we feel like we need a friend, we need certain things to happen, but it's like we don't need that. Like all we need is God, and I think that God was trying to show me that in my younger years. Like I'm setting you apart. Like I lean on me. Like I don't want you to be and with these certain group of people. I want you to just be with me, and I feel like that's kind of how like I grew as a person. So it was hard, but I feel like I would never be the person I am today if I didn't go through that. So.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. So moving on, and from going from friendships, I wanted to talk about like taking risk, and I wanted to talk about, you know, the year 2019 because like I'll be honest to say that like when the end of 2018 was a great year. For some, but it was good for me, but, you know, because I was able to step out of my comfort zone. I started benevolence and all of that stuff, but I really feel that 2019 is really taking risk and taking comfort at a whole nother level. Like, I really feel that God is, like, pushing us out, like, of certain areas and, like, really having us take risk and take like our faith, like put our faith on like full, I don't even know what analogy to use, but like put it on full throttle. You know what I mean? Like we always have faith in God. You know, we have faith that He's going to protect us. We have faith that He has, you know, His plans are great. He has a plan and purpose for us. But I feel like this year is like, okay, now we really like, well, out of all the years that we had faith, now we really have to have faith in God. And I've been hearing a lot of like preachings out there and things like that where they're like just trying to like push and take risk, you know, to be the better version of yourself, you know, and I always say that in benevolence, you know, that I pray that benevolence can push you to be the best version of yourself and taking risk. Someone's going to be taking a huge risk this year, and believe it or not, it's an inspiration to our circle of friends only because, you know, it's literally walking by faith and not by sight. And I believe that, you know, just this little story that someone's going to tell you is just going to empower you to really take risk. And like once we heard the news, you know, we were shocked, but we were kind of like, okay, you know, like we understood because we knew that this was something like from God, and we knew that this was something that you guys wanted and things like that, you know. So this episode is very important because this may be the last time in a very long time that all four of us are going to be together. And the reason why that is because our girl Tiffany Gonzalez will be moving with her husband to California, and just to pursue their careers, continue on with their careers and all of that. So I wanted you, Tiffany, and I know I caught you off guard. I didn't send this to you prior because I just feel like you're good at explaining things anyways.
I don't feel like
it. But you are. But I just wanted you to just explain a little bit of your situation. What has God done for you? And just kind of like how taking this risk is definitely going to push you into the purpose that God has.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that I now am realizing is that at a younger age, and it has nothing to do with my parents, the way they parented or anything like that, but I just never knew what it meant to kind of like think big or dream big. Or so, you know, growing up, I just kind of thought I just followed that basic like life guideline that we have, right? So you go to school, graduate, college, and then, you know, get married, have kids. Obviously God being at the center of it, but not having that thought of or I would say aspiration of looking ahead and taking a risk in life. I found myself like kind of falling in that step in my life, personally speaking. And then when I met my husband, I remember that it was crazy because prior to us getting married, I had gone to a women's conference that my aunt was preaching at, and this lady prayed for me. And mind you, at that time, I was just I graduated with my bachelor's the year, just a few months after I got married. So I go to this event and this lady prays for me, and she's like, "You're gonna go away, you're gonna study in a different state," and I'm over here like, what is this lady saying right now? Like, does she not know that I'm graduating like next year? Or I don't remember how soon it was. So I remember keeping that to myself because I really didn't know what that meant. And then when my husband and I believe it was right before we got married, we were talking, and I remember him calling me, and he's like, "Hey, I just feel in my heart that we need to go away to Missouri, and I need to study there, you know." And I was just like, at first I was taken aback, and I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? And then I remember it's like God almost like said, "Hey, I gave you a word about this," you know. So I shared that with my husband. I said, "Oh my gosh, it's so weird," because I said just, you know, a few weeks or a few months ago, I can't remember exactly, but I was like, this lady gave me a word about going away to study. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, that must mean us. Like, we're one, you know." So pretty much that's how the story played out. We get married, and a few months later, we move from, you know, Orlando all the way to Missouri in the Midwest. And for those of you who have never visited the Midwest, it's pretty, you know, different from Orlando. The culture, everything is boring.
Yeah, she came back a changed woman.
Yes, so it was different by far, and it was hard at first, culture shock, and I was angry, I was confused. I'm like, why did you take us out here, God? I didn't understand at first. So fast forward, we get through pretty much 3 years, I want to say, and on that last semester of my husband's schooling, he decided to take an internship in California because he's majoring in film. So he gets this internship opportunity in California, and we find ourselves then moving to California for a semester. And that was another culture shock. It was definitely something I never thought. California to me was one of those places that like you just see in movies. Like, it wasn't ever a place that I thought I'd go visit, or I don't know. But anyways, we get there, and it was pretty awesome. I mean, it's different in and of itself. The culture, the lifestyle, everything. The eating, everything is different. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. And then from there, we just, I don't know, like God planted this seed in our hearts immediately. Like I remember specifically because we drove from Missouri to California. And the day we were leaving California, I cried in the car because I was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know why I have this huge passion and love right now for this state that I didn't even like ever think I'd visit or anything. And I remember asking Kevin, like, we sat down and everything, we tried to do numbers and like, what if we, you know, get jobs, and like we were just totally trying to make it possible, and it didn't work. And that's just the way God wanted it for many reasons. So then we headed back to Florida. And it's been almost 3 years that we've been back now, and in the summer, I think May, I think it will be 3 years. And so that was from that moment on, I remember having this urgency in our heart, in our prayer life. We always were asking God, if this is something that you have for us that we will one day return, like, allow it to be so. If not, remove it at once, because it can really cause confusion. If you know. Yeah. So we started to dream. We started to think. We started to talk. We started to really just speak existence over this, what we believed was, you know, God placing this desire in our hearts. And I mean, I got to the point where I was bringing this up in my own personal therapy. I'm like, you know, what am I feeling? We would process all of these things. I remember my counselor, she made me do exercises. Like, she made me do a vision board and, you know, really put on that board, you know, and I did it with Kevin, but we put all the things that we wanted to have when we moved to California. And even like saving money and things like that. And it's funny because today, yes, we're taking that risk to go. But some of the things on that board have come to pass already. Wow. And that's been something that has just really, it's just been so impactful because, again, growing up and not really believing that this would probably be my reality. And maybe to some listeners out there that you're probably like, I mean, what's so, like, serious about taking a risk and moving to another state? But, again, from my perspective, my worldview, like, I just never thought that I'd leave Orlando. Like, this was it for me. You know, life was good here. I love Orlando. It's absolutely beautiful. My family's here, but, you know, I never thought anything else. But so to see now that we're leaving in just almost less than 3 weeks, and we really are just going by faith. You know, we had in December I graduated, and on our vision board we had set a date for December of 2018, like right after I graduated. Wow. That was our date. I mean, this was almost a year ago when we did the vision board. And then December comes and we were just like, it was almost like we knew in our hearts what to do to take that step, but at the same time, it was like we needed something else from God. And so I remember that I went to see my personal counselor, and she encouraged me where she was just like, I remember she said, I really thought that you came in, because I was a mess crying, because I'm like, I don't know what to do. Like, I finished school. I really thought I was already going to be in California, but the doors haven't opened. We don't have jobs, and so on and so forth. And she was just like, I really truly thought you were coming in here to tell me you had a date picked already. And she's like, she was like, take 2 weeks to pray and fast and seek God's direction. So in the midst of those 2 weeks, Kevin and I decide we are going to pick a date. And we pick a date. We decide to just, hey, let's take a risk. And then we tell our parents that we're going to do this. They, I mean, thank God, are the most supportive and caring parents, and they give us their blessings. And then that same week, you know, we get confirmation from God through, you know, a man of God, a prophet who came to visit our church, and he specifically mentioned the state of California and
everything in your life.
Yeah, the fact that I studied, you know, I have a master's. He talked about me having a master's and working with couples, and I'm actually a marriage and family therapist. So, you know, all of those things, or in the name of Jesus, I will be a licensed in a couple of years, you know. So all of those things came into fruition at that moment, and you just realize what, you know, when God puts something in your heart, He'll back it up even when you don't know. Because I'm here talking to you, and it sounds all good and gravy, but your girl really doesn't have, at this time, we don't have anything planned out. Yeah. We're going by faith. We're believing that God spoke, and maybe to some people that sounds really crazy, but I'm the type of person that's very structured, and I kind of want to plan at all times. But I feel that God chooses to work with us in different ways, you know, and I feel that Him not giving me everything that I wish right now that I had, like all the answers, it's just His way of getting glory in this situation. Because at the end of the day, I have no one else to fall on except God, and know that this is just His plan, His will. And, you know, in the near future, I'll know all of those answers. And I know that when we arrive to California, the Lord will meet us there, and He'll take care of our needs. But, I mean, if there's anyone listening who is, you know, has been praying for something and desires to take a risk in life, I think that at the end of the day, if what you're doing is going to bring glory to God, Amen. I think that we shouldn't put all of the extra stressors that we put on knowing whether or not we're really hearing the voice of God. I mean, I think that that's where the Holy Spirit gives us that discernment, and you know what's the reason behind what you're doing. But I think that sometimes we make God to be, or our spiritual life to be, more complex than it actually is intended to be, you know? And I think that that's something that I'm learning now with God too, because even with that confirmation, so many people have told us, you never needed that word because you knew all along. For those 2.5 years that you prayed in silence, no one really knew that that was at the core of our hearts, because we respectfully wanted to keep it as, something in prayer. But a lot of times, that word was for those around us, who may doubt or who may question, like, why are you going? What's the reason behind this? Exactly. Is it just an emotional attraction that you have with the state of California? Which is so easy, right, with Hollywood, but that wasn't the case at all. And so if you're out there listening, be encouraged, do it. If there's something on your heart, like, I think that that's just been the beauty of this season for me. It's like, stop doubting that God, is calling you for something better, or a move, or to go to school, or another job opportunity. It's like, go for it. I really would just encourage you all. So
yeah, even if, like, from you talking, you said you did a vision board with Kevin, and I'm like, wow, why didn't I think of doing that? Talking to Anthony and saying, okay, where do we want to be in a year from now? Yeah. Where, short term, long term, whatever it is, like, but actually make it visual, like pictures, print out pictures, whatever the case may be. I don't know how
we literally, we took a Sunday. I remember after church, I think it was, and we printed out certain topics that we wanted to see come to pass, and we put a date on the vision board, and then once we had completed it, we put it on the back of our door in our room, so that every time we opened the door, we had no choice but to look at that. And I would always put my hand over it and pray for it, and when we'd pray, we'd bring those things to the Lord, and it's just amazing to see how we have such a detailed God who listens to what we may believe is the most insignificant thing, but even my husband's back was on there, like his healing of his back. And for those of you who are listening who don't know, my husband had a major surgery last year in the fall, and he had back surgery. And at the time when we did that vision board, I mean, all I ever did was cry because I didn't know how he was going to get healed, and we had prayed for healing for so long. And, God showed up, like, unexpectedly at the end of this, 2018, and he got the surgery, and so that was even on the vision board, and just to see that, I was just like, and we saved the amount that we put on that board, we ended up saving that money. Wow. It's been awesome to just see how God truly comes through when you really have something in your heart and it's from God. Yeah. So, you may not be people may not always understand it, but that's okay, because when it's from God, like, He literally takes care of that for you.
So if you're out there and there's something in your heart that's stirring, and I can testify with benevolence, there was something stirring my heart for years. I've been wanting to do something, as I felt God, like, just tugging in my heart. I just didn't know how I was going to do it, and I just took a risk, and I put myself out there, because I'm not that type of person, and write it down. Make a vision board if you need to, but you have to, like, take that first step. And sometimes you do need to take a step in order for things to start picking up. You want to go to school? Well, fill out the application. You have to take a step. You can't be stagnant and just, wait for God. And I'm not saying that God is not going to move, but I'm saying you have to do your work, because faith without works is dead, and we have to move. And I really truly believe that 2019 is a year of taking risks, getting out of our comfort zones, new transitions, new, just everything new. I just see new. I don't know why I feel that way, but I just feel that way. And Tiffany, we all knew that this was going to happen eventually. you know, because we knew that was in your heart for a long time, but we are so excited for you, and we're like, we speak life, you know, and we know that God, we are, like, yesterday I texted you, and I'll be honest to tell you, I was on the road, I was driving, and then I just started crying. Oh my. And like I was like, wow, I'm like, my friend is leaving, like again, because you know the first time, you know, the first time she left to Missouri, and we had gone so close, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to Missouri. But then my hope was like, okay, she's coming back, so that was my hope, you know. We kept that like pen pal, whatever, and I guess we're gonna have to keep continuing with the pen pals. But, you know, and then when you went to California, I sent you, like, a little California care package or whatever, like, very detailed with, like, a bunch of things. And then, you know, I don't know, when you came back, it was like, you were like, oh, my God, when you came back, you were like, I love California. No, like, you were just like,
so happy.
It was so great. Look how thin we got. And I ate it all back. You were like, it's such a healthy lifestyle over there. Everybody's walking. Everybody's gluten-free. Everybody's hiking. Great. And we're like, okay. But we knew that was like definitely somewhere where God was going to take you eventually. We just didn't know it was that close. But we know that this is definitely from God, especially with all the, you know, the words that God has given to you. And I like what you said, because God could have he didn't have to like announce it to the world, right? You know, what your process, what you and Kevin were going through. He could have just said it in silence, but like Mama said, like he honored that, and also is to help others who don't have faith and who needs an extra push, you know. Like
remember when he probably
when he like God has spoken to all of us, you know, at the end of 2018.
And I wasn't there.
You were not there. And then eventually God found you.
She had her day.
She had her day.
Yeah, because you know.
And none of you were there on my day, which is funny. I wasn't there for your day, and neither.
And we weren't there for your day either.
We
So
sorry.
you know, it's just waiting on God.
For sure.
You know, if you need to journal, write it down in a journal, do whatever you have to do, but
speak life into it.
Exactly.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that I want to continue to do moving forward is like God gives us, you know, more than just one thing to be passionate about. And so it's like whatever that is, you know, like Ceci, you were saying, like, put it on a journal, put it on whatever. Yeah. I spoke with a therapist about it because that's how real this was to me. And I just think that you have to pursue it. Like, pursue it. No matter what, do it. Don't let fear or anything, you know, hold you back. But I know that God, this year, for all of you girls, I know that God has something great.
Amen.
So,
no, but seriously, I feel like just you doing this is like inspires us.
Yeah, it does inspire us.
It really does. It's like just you talking about it, you taking that step, it's just inspiring to like, you know what, like if you feel this in your heart and you felt like God tugged that in your heart, then it just inspires me to step out and do what God has been tugging in my heart. Because if you were able to take that step, even in the unknown, even in the silence, even feeling like you don't know what's next, you're taking that step. It just inspires me to want to just take a step, you know, to fulfill what God really has put in my heart. So I just am so excited for you guys.
Yeah. So we're excited for you. And we'll be praying. I know. So excited.
But we're definitely. This isn't it. Like
no, this isn't it. No, this is. You know, I think we're used to you being away.
It's normal with Tiff.
It's normal with you being away.
now, instead of her coming here, we have to go.
We have to go over there for sure. For sure. I mean, we don't know anything. Like, we're talking a bunch of nonsense right now, but we don't know where God is.
I know, like you guys don't know that Orlando is your final destination. Awesome.
So Tiffany, we love you, and this isn't it. This is just, you know, just the beginning. We never know for all of us, and you know, this may be the last time, maybe in a long time, where we'll be all like four of us together. But honestly, I think distance is gonna tell. You know what I mean? And if we just gotta be accountable to each other with like. For everything, and if we have to Skype, we Skype, and whatever, you know, we'll go out. We got group text. We have that going strong for a long time. But we love you, and we love you and Kevin, and we're so excited for what God is going to do. Like, it's just exciting because I feel like once you reach over there, I feel like God is going to like his outpouring of blessings, you know, other things, you know.
And we're just going to be over here like, yes.
Oh my gosh. I mean,
I would die.
I would die too.
I know.
Well, we love you guys. And I want to thank Pamela and Tiffany and Nisha for joining me on the table for this episode of Benevolence. And this ain't the end, so I'm not going to do a proper goodbye or anything because I have another plan for season 3. But thank you, girls, for joining me at the table. I love you all, and let's continue the sisterhood from here on out for sure. Okay? Love you.
Love you guys.
1, 2, 3, sisterhood, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3,
sisterhood! Wait, that wasn't good at all.
I feel like that was pitch perfect.
I know. On 3. Is there another name?
Oh my God.
I don't know.
You say girls. 1, 2, 3, friends.
What do we? No.
No.
Why, Nisha? Why?
Bye.
Okay, I'm ending. And thank you all for tuning into Benevolence, where kindness matters and all are welcome to the table. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at Benevolence Podcast or at I am Ceci Diaz to know a little bit more about me and Benevolence. Benevolence Podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play, and the Stitcher app. And finally, if there's a topic that you would like to discuss in the future, please do not hesitate to email me at benevolencepodcast@gmail.com with requests, petitions, and or comments. I want to hear from you. And stay tuned for next Monday's episode of Benevolence. You don't want to miss it. Bye!